Good morning. Welcome to the Community for Conscious Living weekly live broadcast. Today is Sunday, March 24th of 2019. The Community for Conscious Living is a community dedicated to personal transformation for universal harmony, healing the planet by making inspired changes in ourselves and our daily lives to create a sustainable environment and a peaceful world. Today's topic is about sovereignty. Last week we talked a little bit about sovereignty, but sovereignty over what? That's a big question that comes in because so often, yes, we know that we have sovereignty or we have the right to have authority over our own lives, our own bodies, our hearts, our souls, and of course that's easier said than done. But then what is, when we think about having sovereignty over our domain, what is within the domain? What is it that we have responsibility for, that we have commitment to, that we have power over, and how much authority do we have to live up to those commitments? And, you know, we have a commitment to care for our bodies and our hearts and our souls and our spirits and our connections and our relationships and our homes and all of the things that we have. But it really can get muddy and murky on just where those lines are drawn, right? Even when it comes to taking care of our own selves, our own bodies, our hearts, our souls, we have, you know, that big human ego struggle. Let me say first, within this life journey on planet Earth, one of our greatest opportunities here on planet Earth is that we come in as these beings of light and we contain within us all of the attributes of the divine, that breath of source breathed into us that gives us life, that beats our hearts and breathes our lungs and gives consciousness into our physical existence here. This breathes into us a knowing of all of the attributes of the divine, and one of those attributes is sovereignty. It's power, it's authority. It's also love and compassion and kindness, right? And sometimes in our human experience of life on planet Earth, all of this stuff gets really confused and can seem contradictory and counter to each other. How do we have sovereignty and power and authority over our lives and still be in love and compassion and kindness for all things in creation? And yes, how can we be in love and compassion and kindness with ourselves and also with others? Because there seems to be so much conflict and so much contradictory situations that get set up here. And we struggle. And the human ego struggles to make sense of it all and to find the right harmony within it all, to find the harmony, to find the balance, right? And this is a setup. It's what is intended here, because we come in with these divine attributes, but we're giving this thing called free will. So we have to forget our connection with the all that is and our knowledge and subsistence in the divine in order to get into these situations where we have an opportunity to use our free will and make these small mistakes and try to figure all of this out. It's the poet Rumi says, my teacher used to talk about us being in a rock tumbler together. We're all in this big rock tumbler, and we've got jagged edges, and we're tumbling up against each other. And the poet Rumi said, if you are irritated by every rub, how shall your rock ever be polished? Right? And that same thing. We have to, as we bounce up against each other and tumble through this life, we have the opportunity to polish each other and to become polished. As we go through this, fumble through life with all of the dichotomies and the multiplicities and the contrasts and the contradictions in life, we try to figure out, okay, where is my realm of authority? What do I have authority over? What do I have responsibility for? And how do I exert my power, my will in this situation to attempt to bring about the outcome that will be in the highest for all? And even as spiritual beings, when we turn our hearts to our source and say, okay, we want to live according to your will. So we want to surrender to the will of the one, right? Surrender to the will of God. But we're still in these physical bodies, and we have to live in these lives, and we have to take action as we are in the state of being the light and the love and the compassion in the world. We have to take action at times, and it can still get tricky of how much do we surrender and how much of our own selves through our own will do we exert into the world. It gets tricky. And I gave the example in the email about, just one of the examples that is so prevalent in our world. And I know a lot of our listeners here don't watch television, and they didn't for many years. And so it's kind of just become like a comedy almost. It would be comical. I have to laugh, I guess. I mean, it would be comical if it weren't so true to, I guess, to the masses here. And yet, oh, well, let me explain it. I think as you see it laid out in this way, it's got to be waking some people up. As crazy as it is, it's got to be waking people up because, all right, since I've been living with my dad for the last year and a half, or maybe longer now at this point, we watch a lot of television. And like I said, I was pretty much unplugged from television for many years, most of my adult life. And so to come back and watch it and to see the commercials, as a person, I choose a vegan lifestyle to not consume animal products and not support products that use animal products. And so I recognize, I guess I'm pretty sensitive to how much meat and other animal products show up in our television shows that come on, as well as commercials and everything. And it's like, wow, what would life be like if the whole world, if we just like unplugged that whole construct out of our society, where we didn't have this animal, this system that just allowed for the use of animals in our foods and in our products. It's just like, wow, what if we pulled that completely out of our beliefs and our practices? What would our television and our programs and the advertisements, because it's within the programs too, like what would that be like? And wouldn't that be a wonderful thing to have if you want to watch television and you don't want to support the animal products? But anyway, you look at the commercials and they come on one after another, right? Here's your commercial for your fast food or for your restaurant chains, and it's like showing you just piles of heavy meats with sauces and processed foods and sugary sodas and diet sodas and all of this stuff all of these commercials for these, look at this great deal you can get here and bring the whole family and chow down. The next commercial is for, your beer or your rum or your whiskey. And the next commercial is for your antacids and your pain relievers. And like, oh, just take this. Yeah. And they even show it. Oh, you had this heavy meal? Don't worry. Just take this. And it's like, seriously? And then the next one is like, oh, and is this drug right for you? Ask your doctor to prescribe, and find out if this is right for you. And it's for, it's for your physical health, for all the whatever illness you may have been afflicted with that, couldn't have had anything to do with what was in the commercials that came just before this one, right? But, oh, now you've got this. Well, take this drug, and it's physical health and mental health. And it's like, oh, well, you don't have to suffer with that low energy or that depression or anything else anymore. Just take this. And then, oh, well, how about your health insurance? We advocate for you. We're going to make sure you can get the drugs and the surgery and the medical care that you need. Just call this number. And then, oh, don't forget that you need your life insurance. So at the end of your life, you can have a proper honoring burial. Your loved ones don't have to struggle with what to do. And, you can just watch one commercial after the other, and it's like, well, is anybody else besides me drawing a connection between these? And I hope so. Because it makes it pretty like flashing neon in front of our eyes, that there's a clear pathway here. And, perhaps they're trying to just indoctrinate everyone. I think that mostly, if you've grown up here, you've been indoctrinated into this is just a part of, this is like the cycle of life that we live in. We depend on a food industry to provide foods that make us sick. And then we go to drugs, and then we have this whole medical system and insurance system and everything else that is just kind of like processes us through our life existence from one to the next to the next. And, if it weren't so influential, I don't know if that's what's influential, because I think life in general just kind of indoctrinates us into that, and then it's like, okay, here is the answers to all of our problems, right? And yet, it's also a flashing neon sign that says, okay, this is also what is not right. And if we could just wake up and unplug and recognize that we don't have to be a part of the system, that we have a right to wake up and unplug, that we have a right and an authority and a responsibility to think for ourselves and feel for ourselves and trust ourselves, and to unplug from all of these systems that have been making decisions for us for so much of our lives, that we can unplug and say, wait a minute, I'm going to shut all of that out and make space for myself to discover my own inner voices, my own inner knowing, and I am going to exert my own authority over my life. This is having sovereignty over your own domain. It's a need that we have as human beings, and what we must have. We must have sovereignty over our own domains to make the decisions that are going to be in the highest for ourselves. And then as we said, sometimes it gets a little murky because power and authority and responsibility are the things that we can struggle with sometimes the most, because in our lives we give away our power over and over and over again, right? To people who are well-meaning and want to take responsibility, that want to teach us, that want to care for us, but their decisions and their beliefs aren't necessarily aligned with the truth that we feel inside, right? I mean, this happens as children growing up, you know, in your formative years, when your mind and your mindset is being developed in your formative years in your childhood. There are people making decisions for you all over the place that feel like they take your own inner knowing and your own power and your own authority away, and it develops your belief systems. It develops your survival strategies, right? So you struggle with having been in the position of someone having authority over you. As we grow, we maintain this inner templating and programming of the people who have authority over us and whose knowledge is more informed than our own. Who to listen to, who not to listen to, when to listen to the experts and when to trust our own selves, right? And then when we get to be adults, then we come into places where we have authority and responsibility over others, over children, over our family members, over our responsibilities of our work lives, or what we feel is our life purpose. And then we come on that rock tumbler, we're bumping up against people who don't necessarily agree with our beliefs and our decisions. And so it gets to be tricky. What is within your domain to care for? For yourself, sometimes that still gets a little tricky, but it can be more clear. What about your children? What about your family? What about your relationships? What about your job responsibilities, or that which, you know, is a part of your life purpose, your service, your commitments? Can get tricky. And we have so many examples in our world. I mean, look at our politics, for not just our current administration, but for years and years and years, where we have had people in power who have been corrupted by power, dominance, control, money, greed, all of the things that we struggle with. The things that we struggle with that are, that frankly keep us from wanting to exert our own personal power over others, because we see it done wrong. We see it done in a way that hurts other people. And then we think to ourselves, well, I don't want to be that. Right? We struggle with wealth because, well, look at these pictures of wealthy people that we see that can, so often be money corrupts, right? Greed corrupts. And I don't want to be that, therefore I'll just stay poor. Or, I don't want to be that powerful person, therefore I'll just give all my power away. So it's a tricky dance that we do, a tricky struggle that we have, because at the same time, we don't want to be powerless and have others having authority over us. We don't want to be poor and be dependent on the systems. And unable to help others. So it's a dance. It's a tricky dance, and it gets often confused inside. But thank goodness there are attributes and qualities that we can strengthen within ourselves. They're all inside of us. They've been breathed into you since before your birth, but they were breathed into your physical form as your source breathed life force into you. All of this knowing is inside of you, and our opportunity as spiritual beings integrated into human bodies on this life earth journey, our opportunity is to clean the qualities inside of ourselves, to purify the heart, to clean the ego qualities so as to align with the divine attributes inside of ourselves and be in service, to be the light, the love, the compassion, to be the strength and the sovereignty and that in the world. There's a saying in our tradition that says to be self-sufficient in the world and needy only for the one. Yes, to be self-sufficient in the world and needy for the one. Okay, so let's come into our prayer and healing circle. Sorry I talked for so long before bringing us into circle today. Let's come into our prayer and healing circle, sitting side by side, shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, knee to knee, forming our container for our circle. The name of the one most merciful, ever compassionate. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. We come together, call together on our source. Let's bring all of our neediness, all of our questioning, and all of our prayers. Let's bring this all to the one. We are created to be needy, and we are created to be strong. Let's bring our neediness to our source of all of the life force, all of the divine orchestration, all of the divine attributes and the truths. Let's bring our neediness and our questioning and our prayers directly to that source, so that as we move in the world, we can be the strength, we can be the self-sufficient, we can be the responsible, the caring, the loving, the providing for our domain that we have been given in this world. So as we come together, just take a minute now. And I'm going to give a moment of silence so that you can offer your prayers and your intentions and your questions directly for the one. Let's call directly on our source and ask for our source to send the healing, to send the help, to send the essence of pure divine light. It streams into the center of our circle. Let's call on this vibration of this pure divine light. We allow this light, or receive this light as it streams into the center of our circle, filling all of the center of our circle with this pure essence, pure divine light. And as you breathe, you take a full and gentle breath, and as you exhale, turn your heart center, that funnel of energy that extends from the front of your heart space. Turn this to the center of our circle and allow your heart to receive this pure vibration of this pure divine light. As you inhale, breathe this in directly into your heart center, breathing in this vibration of pure divine light. Let this light stream into your heart space, your center of your divine connection, divine knowing, that portal to that kernel of truth, that core of truth inside of you. And let this vibration of this pure divine light, the essence of pure divine light, let it move through that funnel of energy of your heart, all the way through. With each breath, take it in deeper and deeper. Allow it to illuminate and to purify your heart space, to wash and to cleanse your heart space, and to allow your heart space to deepen and carry you all the way through your heart and into the depths of your own being, your core essence, your life force energy that holds and connects you with those divine truths. As you exhale, relax, release, and allow your heart center to soften and to release. And with your next inhale, draw in this essence of pure divine light through your heart space, allowing this light to wash through your heart space, to fill you with light. And as you exhale, relax, release, let all of those blocks and barriers, all of those grains of sand and the big boulders, everything just that's ready to release, that's not serving your absolute highest existence, that's not, it all does. It all serves the highest existence, but anything that you don't need anymore, just allow that to be released into this depths of the ocean that contains, that fills the center of our circle, and that is the ocean that we exist and subsist in, this ocean of pure divine compassion and unconditional love. And let's call on our source for that pure vibration of unconditional love and that pure vibration of the divine compassion, the existence of compassion. And as you inhale, inhale in this vibration of this pure divine light, of unconditional love, and of eternal compassion. Breathe this in through your heart space. Let it wash, cleanse, purify the eye of your heart. And with each breath, take it in deeper and deeper and deeper into your heart space. As you exhale, relax, release, and soften. Let any of the blocks and barriers that are ready to release be washed into the center of this divine ocean, to be cleansed, to be purified. And with each inhale, take this in through your heart center, deeper and deeper and deeper. And let your conscious body just lean back toward your spine and come to rest in this core of your life force energy that runs vertically from your head to your toes through the core of your body. And let yourself rest into that. And allow this vibration of light and love and compassion to stream in, connecting you with your core. As you rest in this waterfall and allow yourself to be bathed and showered in this stream of divine light, unconditional love, and eternal compassion. Allowing this to stream over you, to bathe you, to cleanse, to purify. To inform you, to become a part of your conscious knowing. Breathe into the depths of your heart. And I invite you to bring that question into this core of your heart, in the presence of the divine light, the unconditional love, the eternal compassion, the pure life force, the breath of spirit inside of you. Bring that question. What is within your domain of sovereignty? What is this life giving you to serve, to protect, to preserve? What is within your responsibility? What is within your purpose and passion? What is that for you to care for as you move in this world? The quality of sovereignty is al-Malik. You worked with that last week, I believe. Malik. It's M as in Mary, A-L-I-K. Malik, the sovereign. The sovereign is that which helps us to embody that sense of authority and of power and of the right that we have to protect, to preserve, to provide for, to care for that which is within our domain. So let's take a minute and just call on the quality of al-Malik, the sovereignty. And so call on that vibration of al-Malik. Breathe that into your heart also and let that inform your cellular consciousness. Let it vibrate through your core so that you feel it, so that you experience it, so that it becomes a part of your knowledge, your inner knowledge. Al-Malik, 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 the sovereign. And allow yourself to Just feel and perceive what that feels like in your body, in your heart, and witness and observe and learn from the experience of it. How do you sense that in your being? As you call in Al-Malik, you breathe that in, you allow that vibration to resonate in your core, and from your core to emanate out to all of your cells. And invite all of your cells to open and to receive this vibration of Al-Malik, of the divine light, An-Nur, unconditional love, Al-Wadud, Ishq, the passionate love, the eternal compassion, Ar-Rahman, and the sovereignty, Al-Malik. Let that resonate through your core. Let yourself feel that which helps you in those times to know what is yours to have authority. This is actually what gives you the knowledge of that strength and that authority and that responsibility for. So often when we think of power over, it just leaves that bad taste in our whole bodies, right? Power over. We don't want to have power over in a negative way. We don't want to have control over others. We don't want others to have control over us. But there is then the responsibility. There's in the course that I was in, it's been a month already, I think, a month ago. I was in that 10-day continuum training program. We had a woman who is a leading scientist in the study of oxytocin and vasopressin. And oxytocin is that love hormone that, when a woman gives birth, everyone has the hormones of oxytocin and vasopressin. But when a woman gives birth, that's what really creates that bond and has her fall in love with that baby, even through all of the pain that she's just experienced in the childbirth. That is that oxytocin. Oxytocin is like that love hormone that gives us, it's that kind of a blissful love of love and being in love with all things. And then there is another hormone alongside that is the vasopressin. That, my understanding is, that's more like the love that is the mama tiger that will come out and protect at all costs that which she loves. Try to hurt this baby and I'm going to come after you, right? It's that kind of love. And we need both. And I think of that as like, it's like the inner feminine and the inner masculine qualities that we carry. That state of being, the state of being and that subsistence and the emanation of that passionate love of all things and of the divine, paired with that love that springs into action when it's time to protect and preserve and provide for. And we have both. We all have both. we have both, and to understand them and to be able to embody them in balance. Again, begs the question, what is within your domain to care for? You know, as an entrepreneur and a self-employed business person, I tell you what, this area, this field, if you've been self-employed and tried, wherever, been in a practice for yourself, you've possibly, and I'll say, I think probably, struggled with that, like, okay, what is it that I need? How much do I need? What do I need in order to survive, in order to manage my business, in order to, blah, 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 blah. You see it over and over and over again as people struggle financially to figure out how are they going to, or what they need in order to manage their business, how are they going to make it in their own practice, right? And so often we think, well, okay, we just need this much right here in order to run the business, and we forget, wait a minute, we have much more than that in our lives that we need to care for. What is within our domain? What is within that responsibility that we have to care for, to protect, to preserve, to provide for? What all is within that in your life? What is it that you need to be able to meet the commitments and the responsibilities and to carry out that which you've come here on this planet Earth to be, to do, to have? Yes, there is that trust in the divine that if you're meant to be, to do, to have, that it will be provided for you, as the divine is the great provider and the grand orchestrator. And yet, as we have the opportunity to bump up against all the other rocks in the rock tumbler as we're becoming polished, we have to find, all right, and what is my embodiment and my actions and the things that I need to do and to manage on this planet Earth in order to live into what the divine has brought me here to learn, to do, to give, to have, to be. It can get tricky. So, again, breathing in these qualities into your core. The divine light an-nur, the unconditional love al-wadud, the passionate love al-ishq, the eternal compassion ar-Rahman, the sovereignty, which is also called the I can power of the cosmos, al-Malik. Al-Malik. So I invite you to embody al-Malik and breathe that into your core. And really let that, the I can power of the cosmos, come in to your core. Breathe that in. Let yourself take that into your core. Stand in it. Merge with it. Let it become your core. Al-Malik. Let it teach you and inform you through its vibration and resonance in the core of your being, Al-Malik, the sovereignty, the I can power of the cosmos. Let it inform you, let it teach you. And I want to call on also the quality with Al-Malik, Al-Hafiz, the protector, that we all have, that knowledge of the protector within us, that vasopressin quality of that which we will protect and preserve. Al-Hafiz, Al-Hafiz. And let that resonance of the name of Al-Hafiz resonate through your core, calling on that essence of the divine protection. Al-Hafiz, to come and be embodied in you, to inform you, your inner consciousness and your cellular consciousness and your inner knowing, to become a part of your divine template on planet Earth. Al-Malik, the I Can power of the cosmos, the sovereign. Al-Hafiz, the protector. And breathe in Al-Hafiz. Let that come into your core. Let it become a part of your core essence. Stand in it. Be it. Let it be you. Feel it inside of you. As this strengthens your core and then emanates out to your cellular consciousness from there, kind of like healing the inner rings of a tree, and then letting that core strength of the tree support the entire strength of the tree. So Al-Malik, Al-Hafiz. Let's call on the quality of Al-Aziz, Aziz, the strength, the divine strength, the core strength. This is that strength that is it's an inner knowing. It's not an outer strength. You allow the strength to be a core strength within you. Your outer can be soft. Have you ever seen someone who enters a room and their presence is so strong that when they say something, you just say, oh yeah, that's right. They don't have to say it forcefully, but their inner strength is just so strong and powerful that you just, it carries, when they speak, it carries an essence of truth. Their being, it's like you want to look to them for answers because they carry a strong inner presence. And they can be very soft on the outside. As a matter of fact, the stronger you are on the inside, the softer you can be on the outside and be even more effective than when you are feeling the less than strong on the inside and using your outer forces as a means of strength. So again, Al-Malik, the sovereign, the I Can power of the cosmos. Al-Hafiz, the protector. Al-Aziz, the strength. Let this vibration come into your core, strengthening you. And Al-Qadir, the power that ignites, that life force within you, that ignites the strength, that ignites the protector, that ignites the sovereignty. And again, from the inner divine strength and knowing, Al-Qadir is the power. Al-Malik, Al-Hafiz, Al-Aziz, Al-Qadir, and Al-Haq, the truth. Al-Haq, the truth. Just let this resonate through your core. Let it teach you, let it inform you, let it give you on a conscious level the divine template that exists within you. Let it illuminate and strengthen this divine template that already exists at your core, and let that illumination radiate out to all of your cellular consciousness to give you a presence, to give your presence the divine conscious knowing. Give your consciousness the divine knowing of the sovereignty, of the protector, of the strength, of the power, of the truth, the divine truth. Ya Malik, Ya Hafiz, Ya Aziz, Ya Qadir, Ya Haq. And let that move all the way through your core. Let that vibrate and resonate through the core of your being. Feel it in that vertical core that moves along the front of your spine, from your head through your base. And let it ground all the way through you. Let it be illuminated. Let it be strengthened. Feel it. Let it teach you. Let it inform you. And let it radiate out to all of the cells that carry consciousness throughout all of your being. Again, let's invite every cell of your being and every layer of your consciousness to open to receive in this vibration of the sovereignty, of the protector, of the strength, of the power, of the truth. Remember, the divine realms do not exert power and strength in a way that harms others. This is an inner knowing that actually will protect you and that which is within your domain to protect, because it makes you less susceptible to the strength and the power of others who misuse. It aligns with the divine reality, the divine truth of power and strength and authority. And that divine truth of power and strength and authority and protection is that which carries absolute love and compassion. Think of the Hindu word ahimsa, which is non-violence, to do no harm. This is within the absolute love, compassion, and protection. In a way that does not harm, in a way that protects and preserves the peace. So again, let that resonate through your core. Ask again. If there's anything else you'd like to ask from your source to help you to gain clarity. And I just want to call on any of those, especially the mental constructs that keep us confused, any of those that are keeping us from getting the understanding the harmonious nature of these qualities. Let's call on those and offer those to the center of our circle. Let's ask the angels to please take those and release those and turn our sights, our vision, and our mental power, mental constructs to the truth. Let our mental bodies be informed and be educated by the light of the truth. And breathe that in. Allow your mental body to be a witness to the divine truth, to learn to be repatterned, retemplated with the vibration of divine truth. And breathe that in, and then let's just take a minute for gratitude with that. Gratitude for what you may have received, or what you would have released. Let your heart feel the gratitude, and as you move into gratitude, again, that opens your cells even more deeply to anchor in the divine realities of the divine truth, divine sovereignty, the protector, the strength, the power, the truth. And before we come to a close today, I'd like to offer the opportunity also for you to just offer any other prayers that you have. I know someone sent me an email just before this call about losing a loved one this week, and I also lost someone that I care very much for this week. And just any other prayers that you'd like to offer. Just want to give us a minute for offering those prayers. For yourself and for those that you care for our beautiful planet and all of its inhabitants and all of the existence. That is here for us to live in harmony with, to protect, to preserve, to care for, to be in the love and compassion with. And by the secrets of the divine, and the prayers that we've been given. We thank you, give gratitude for all that you give. And I want to invite your conscious body to drop into your physical space, really anchor into your physical body, moving all the way through your core, through your hips, through your legs, your knees, your feet, your ankles and your feet, and into the earth, connecting you into this planet Earth as you carry this high vibration, divine light, unconditional love, eternal compassion, the divine sovereignty, the protection, the strength, the power, the truth. You carry this vibration and it resonates throughout your core and throughout every part of your being as you are fully embodied on planet Earth to be the change you wish to see in the world, to be this change embodied. Remember, this is not a meditation that we go away for and then come back to. This is what we bring into our physical body, what we carry with us from this day forward as a knowing, as a resonance, as we make the changes in ourselves and in our daily lives to be the change that we wish to be in the world, to create the sustainable environment and the peaceful world that we long for. And with that, we will open for Q&A, and I'll end the recording. If you are listening to the recording, I want to thank you for listening and invite you to join us live on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 7 a.m. U.S. Pacific Time. You can find the information to join us at joyfullylivingwellness.com, joyfullylivingwellness.com. Join us live, and you can stay on for the Q&A portion, which is not included in the recording. While you're at the website, you can pick up your copy of the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence. It helps you to just get a one-sheet, a reminder of who you are, what this life is about, and kind of keep it in perspective so that we can hopefully not get sucked into the false illusionary powers of the world, and to maintain our connection with our source and with our own divine inner truth and essence and our own sovereignty and authority over our own domains. So again, that's the 10 Spiritual Principles of Our Human Existence, available at joyfullylivingwellness.com. You can also subscribe to the podcast Self-Care for the Soul to be notified of any replays as they come available for this and any other programs. All right. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and end the recording and open for the Q&A.